Okay, now everybody gather in. Say cheese. Wait, this isn't right. This is a box. But you know what's inside this box? The 3-pack of the Reconnaissance Refraktor Siege set. It's the 3-pack of Reflector that looks like the original G1 toy offerings. That's going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, light them up, baby. And hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton. It lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all my social media links. All of that down in the description below. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we offer to you through Teespring. Or of course you can hit the join button right here on YouTube to become a channel member. That's a secret just between you and me. This is the 3-pack. It came out in Siege. It is interesting to say the least. We will compare it with the kind of mainline animation accurate set. We will of course see what the additional parts are here and how well they function. We will take a look at Kremzeek, and we will actually compare him to my Kremzeek that I managed to get through a very different means. Big shout out and a big thank you goes to Dragonfly for that one. There's a lot here to unpack, so without any further ado, let's head over to the table and take a closer look at this set. And today we go back in time again, ever so slightly thanks to friend of the channel, Maximal10, and this is the Siege Refraktor, we all know it's Reflector, 3-pack. And this is the toy accurate deco versus the mainline's animation accurate deco, and we'll see those comparisons as we go through. For the packaging itself, I love the, well, I guess this is like a viewfinder, but I love the like kind of hologram type of coloration around there. When you look in here, you probably can't see it on camera now, but when you look in there, we do have Refraktor in his, in his camera mode. Over here we do have the artwork for the lads, and over here we do kind of have again what looks like a collector card that's holographic. I don't know, I dig it. That one looks like the arc actually taking off. Back here we actually do get a little bit of a bio that says that these guys turn the I think it's like the art of observation, or no, turn observation into like the art of cruelty or something. Viewfinder, Spyglass, and Spector are all actually explicitly named, and they are given their tasks of, like, you know, propaganda or surveillance or whatever it is. I'm not reading it there. You can, I guess, if you really wanted to, but I think that it's neat. This is actually cool packaging, but you know what we want to see? We want to see what's inside the packaging, don't we, man? First thing to note is what might very well be the best instruction manual I've ever seen. This is actually a booklet, and when you open the booklet, of course, we have all the pieces here actually named and whatnot. You can see full color there of kind of how to do the turret. We have extra detailing in here, including a table of contents. We can go through, and there's a ton of detail in here. Like I said, everything is named and identified. They really went all out with the instructions. We have our stats here for the pieces and bits and stuff. We of course have the instructions of how to do the transformation. All three of them are the exact same. Again, full clear color. Really impressed by these instructions. And as everybody knows, the guy comes with Kremzeek, and this is nice. This is a well done Kremzeek. Now, he doesn't move or anything. He just looks like Kremzeek. To be fair, that was the only way to get this guy. However, I am very fortunate that good friend of the channel, Dragonfly, was able to hook me up with a resin cast of Kremzeek. Now, I painted this version of him myself using a wood stain, a hickory wood stain for the yellow and doing the red. It is, of course, a little rougher of a paint job, but I also have a blue version and the blue version has an arm cracked off, sadly. And I also got a purple version. Just saying, Kremzeek's all around, but it's nice to have them in this set. And if you're so inclined, you could take out the display part of the tray and use it as an actual display to put the camera on. I think it's a little bit too small personally, so I would opt not to do it and just have the guy look like this. But you know, to each their own. Now there's a few things to really sort of note here. The whole camera mode together, of course, is known as Refraktor. It's the camera. The tripod is called the Shutter Blaster Lens Laser Optic Blaster. I guess that's put together. The flash up here, which is an extra piece included in this set, is called the flash launcher. They still have the chest circle pieces. Those are still called compression rotors. And they're part of like the camera stand. The shutter, which I think is this piece over here, is noted as being armor. The lens, they become shields, and of course then we have these pieces up top. They're just pieces up top. They're not actually kind of called anything other than like viewfinder lens, but like there's nothing like that's a special name on there. Each of these guys, again, they have a particular role, a particular identity, if you will. Now, unlike the retail release, these three lads are unique. They are different. They do not look the same. So, to kind of start things off, the red lad here on the end, that is Spectro, and his function is propaganda. And we kind of get like in the instructions like what they call shooting tips. So, like for propaganda, it says use a simple background, move as close to the subject as possible without angering him, burn in a powerful message promoting your leader and the Decepticon cause. So the red lad here on the end, that's Spectro, and that's his role, is to kind of push the Decepticon cause. Then we have Spyglass down on the other far end, and Spyglass has the role or the function of surveillance. And again, in the instructions, it says that for surveillance, use the flash when shooting night scenes in the eternal darkness of a dying planet. Stay as far away from subjects as possible to avoid Autobot detection. Use a backdrop of scorched and crumbled cityscape silhouettes in a smog of floating debris to achieve gritty texture. That's a lot of detail, man. And finally we have Viewfinder, the center lad, the one who actually does have the viewfinder in his chest. And for Viewfinder, he has the function of blackmail. And for blackmail, use the firelight of a burning planet to create an ominous tone. Stay as far away from subjects as possible to avoid the wrath of your comrades. Use telephoto lens and zoom into subjects from a safe distance. And that's, of course, why we have the large lens. So I think that's kind of cool, to be honest with you. And I think I got everybody right. And if I don't, and I have someone's name incorrect, then I apologize. But I'm pretty sure I don't. How does he look next to the stock release? Well, he looks like this. A camera of a different color, still just as sweet. Look, it depends on which one you like. Honestly, for me, this reminds me of the cartoon, so I prefer it myself. That's just the way I like it. However, there's a very, very strong argument to be made for this version. It does have the added piece here, up here, and over here, which is honestly quite nice. I will definitely admit it. In fact, those extra pieces are also evident on this little thing. And you might say, what is that little thing? This, again, thanks to Dragonfly, is a resin cast of the little gray handheld reflector that came with the Centurion pack. I have painted this. We'll look at it closely now since we're, looking at reflectors. Why not? Now, living in Canada, I was not able to get the Centurion pack, which made me very sad. So I'm super thankful that I was able to get help in getting some of these pieces, at least, from Dragonfly. And in this case, I painted the whole thing in kind of a periwinkle type of lavender-like purple. Then I added silver to the flash and the lens. I put gray like out around the lens and the flash. And then using a toothpick, I added just touches of green and the red lines underneath, as well as the gray line above the red and down at the bottom on the edge. All that was done with a toothpick. It was wild to do, but I love this because it, you know, since mask shifting is a thing and nobody likes to talk about it, we can have a reflector in his camera mode that is able to be held and used by other characters. I love that. I think that's a great feature. And the robots can still be in scale as they should be. So I dig this. Now I looked at Refraktor, or Reflector if you will, way back in episode 593, and I actually compared it next to the Perfect Effect PE11 Scouting Force X in that review. So I looked at everything there. We've already seen the transformations. The only thing I'm going to kind of show here is sort of how certain things come apart for this guy from camera mode. I'm not really going to go too in depth with the transformation. I'll probably show one of them going from, you know, cube to ship and ship to robot. So we begin by, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, opening that piece out, and it can even come up on the side, and we lift it off. It's just a 5mm peg that goes into one of the peg holes that's really on his foot, if I'm not mistaken. And we can lay that piece aside. Then we can come here and we pick these, ooh, they don't want to come off. Those two pieces off, they go over a couple of rectangular tabs there, and they even come apart, and again, they're just tabbed together. No big deal. And we'll lay those aside. Then we come over and the flash is just pegged in, 5mm peg, we take that off, and again we take the front off, and we take this stuff off. The one that's down here underneath belongs in the chest of this lad over here. And speaking of which, we're going to unpeg, and there's pegs and slots on the side. We're going to unpeg, and we're going to unpeg, and lay aside, and we will keep this lad here. This is the one that we're going to work with, and we're going to go to ship mode first. Okay, so we're going to go to ship mode. We've seen it before, so I'm going to do it rather quickly. We should be able to, this is where this gets challenging for me. Maybe if I split, it'll be easier. This is where this gets hard for me. What we're supposed to do is be able to take these legs, I guess, down, like from off of the arms. I guess we'll take this out too. We'll take that out and we'll put that up in the hole up here, because that's where that belongs for ship mode. And we'll put that up there. This whole chest piece, it will come down and flip out. But again, we can't quite put that out yet because we do have to get these legs down. And getting these legs off, man, it can be, see, a nuisance. Take that one out. And do you think I can get this one off? Straighten out that arm. I'm gonna get this leg off and then we'll continue. Sheesh. Okay, I finally have the legs down the way they should be. And the rest of this is actually fairly simple. So, this chest piece that we brought down earlier, it can now come down the whole way and it flips out. There is a little rectangular tab right there, and if we turn the arm so that the 5mm peg is on the outside, we should be able to tab that little rectangular tab up into a rectangular slot, really kind of on his pelvis. Then we have the toes. The toes need to go put forward, but when we do that, we're going to put the blaster in between them, this way actually. There are 5mm pegs on the side of the blaster, so when we bring a toe forward, we actually have pegs back, or peg holes back here and up here. Using the ones up on his toes, we want to try anyway and sandwich that. The tolerances here are real tight. Sandwich that in thusly, and I guess straighten it up a little bit, and then bring this toe up over, and hopefully it will peg on over. It doesn't really want to do it there now, but you get the general idea. The struts down bottom are there. Obviously, this needs to be solidified a little bit. This is basically, however, the ship mode. Note that there are parts still missing. We'll deal with that in just a moment. But all three of them transform the same way. So this is how he looks. How do the other guys look? And now here we have all three in ship mode. I will tell you this now. The tolerances on this lad, the lad who has the yellow chest, is nuts. I think that's Spyglass, and his tolerances are nuts, but he also has beautiful, beautiful metallic paint. You can take the flash piece and it can peg on in ship mode along with his blaster and the shield piece. You can take the shoulder pieces and you basically open out a little section there. They tab into what are essentially the shoulders of robot mode as, I don't know, little intakes on the back of the shuttle for viewfinder, and it looks alright. I got no problem with it. And the last lad, the only place I could really find to attach his extra piece is down under there. It doesn't really allow him to kind of sit properly when you lay him down. I find that's a little bit unfortunate, but maybe there's a better place to put it that I just don't know and haven't been able to find. But yeah, overall, like, they look cool, they look neat. I like the uniformity of the animated look, but this is fine too, and honestly, all of these colorations were used in the War for Cybertron Netflix series, so there's an argument for all of these being there. Now, what about getting to the robot mode? Well, for robot mode, we're going to, again, just use one of the lads, and we're going to take the shield piece off, and that just attaches in the chest with a 5mm peg. We're going to bring the chest piece back up over, flip that in, and bring it all the way up over. I wanted to do this guy just to show the extra shoulder bits on him, and if they affect the transformation at all. Then we have to kind of split the legs and unpeg the blaster. The tolerances here are crazy. Take the blaster out. Then we should be able to unpeg the arms from the back and rotate the waist around, rotate the leg, rotate the leg. We take these strut pieces and it closes in behind the leg, closes in behind the leg, and we put out the foot. Next, we take the arm and the shoulder and we should be able to just bring it forward. And that came off, but that's fine. Bring it forward. Turn so the elbow is facing forward. And bring out a hand and bring out a hand. Take off the circular part. And we should now be able to flip out the head. Tight tolerances here, man. Really tight tolerances. And then we take that circular piece and we put it on his tummy and we stand him up. Now, I'm kind of glad that that shoulder piece fell off because I'm going to sort of zoom in and we'll see kind of how that now attaches. But here he is, robot mode. It's a good designed transformation, but the tolerances are a bit brutal, man. Okay, so you can see this little piece up on the shoulder. When we have this, there's an armature in here, right there. It is pinned. You leave it in for camera mode, but you bring it out for robot mode. And using this little peg back here, you basically slot it into his shoulder so that he looks like that. As for his kind of partners, and the other two transform in the exact same fashion. Of course, there are a couple of things worth noting. For Spyglass, we take the flash and it pegs on his shoulder via a 5mm port and peg system. As for Spectro, way down on the end, His extra piece that, I'm not sure what it is, that lens, not lens cover, I'm not sure what it is, but that extra piece is supposed to act like a riot shield. For now it's on his shoulder, and I have it kind of slung across his back. It's okay, but it is cumbersome and it does hinder his articulation. Let's get into grades for these three lads. First things first, we have to remember that this is not based on the animation, so for what it is, I think it's pretty good. I really, really do. The heads could be a little bit different, but they're not. They're all the same head. For Viewfinder in the center, it's pretty darn accurate. It really, really is. For Spector down on this end, his chest is stylized here, as is the head, but the color layout is basically in the right place, and I love the metallic blue used on him. Too bad they didn't also use it on the arms. And perhaps the biggest departure is Spector. I think it's Spectro. I hope I'm getting those names right as I'm saying it. He's probably the biggest departure, but he's the red guy, right? He's the one who stands out the most. I'm going to say overall this is a solid 9. It really looks good, and you definitely know the homage here, especially with the extra parts. In terms of transformation, the tolerances on this compared to the standard release are kind of brutal. I'm not gonna lie. And the standard release has tolerances that are kind of brutal. So for this to be more so is a bit rough. Not gonna lie. But I'll say that it works okay for what it is. I'm going to say it's about an 8 for the transformation. So we have an 8, we have a 9.5, 9, we'll say a 9. We'll keep the number simple. An 8 and a 9, so far an 8.5. What about the articulation? Well, for articulation, we have a head that can go left and it can go right. It can kind of look up because of transformation and a little bit down, but it's kind of into his chest. The arm can go all the way around, weirdly out to the side at what feels like under the shoulder, but that's not new. Super deep elbow. Again, that's a bit of a weird elbow. It's sort of a double elbow. It's strange, but it's functional. We have a wrist. Do we have a wrist? We don't have a wrist. We have a waist, we have legs back, forward, thigh swivel, 90 degrees, toe tilt, ankle tilt, like super deep ankle tilt actually. Again, slightly hindered on this side because of the flash. The extra parts hinder nothing with this guy. And if you leave the parts on, they're pretty darn hindered on this guy. I'm going to say that the articulation works mostly the way you'd want to. I'm going to say it's a solid 8.5 as well. Maybe a 9. So we had an 8.5, a 9. Overall, I think as a set, it's about an 8.75. It's pretty good. So in final analysis, kind of what is the better course of action here? The truth is, there isn't a wrong answer here. If you, like me, are a sucker for animation accuracy, then you know what? The mainline trio was definitely the way to go. Harder to get because you had to find 3 of them out in the mainline, and you didn't get the extra bits and pieces, nor did you get Kremzeek, though I'm lucky that I have a Kremzeek. If you want that kind of G1 toy accuracy, then obviously the 3-pack was the way to go. If you wanted to get all 3 members in one fell swoop and not have to worry about hunting them down, then the 3-pack was the way to go. If you had the main trio and you just wanted to add more of that body type, then you know what? You could certainly get both. It really, really depends on your taste and what you're looking for in a reflector or refractor, if you will. There is no wrong answer. That's the long and the short of it. Neither set is absolutely perfect, but neither set is bad by any stretch of the imagination. If you've got the main line, you win. If you got the 3-pack, you win. If you got both, you still win. And here we are once again, and here they are. Great set, really great set. The Kremzeek is cute. It's a nice little add-on. We've never had a Kremzeek before, so it's nice. I was very lucky that Dragonfly was able to do that resin cast for me. Mine is not quite perfect, obviously, but it's certainly close enough for my tastes. The added on parts. They're cool in camera mode. I guess they're fine in ship mode. And in robot mode, they're iffy. I can't even say all of them. The only part that kind of bugs me is the part that goes on the Red Lad. It just seems cumbersome to me and unnecessary. It does help the camera, but otherwise, I kind of see it as like a throwaway part. Do I think the set is worth it? Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. And I said it at the end there, I mean, if you want something that looks like those individual G1 toy offerings, then yeah, this is the way to go. If you want to augment your animation accurate lads, then yeah, this is the way to go, especially if you want them to look like the other body types from the Siege series. If you want to get all three in once rather than having to hunt down three, this was a great way to go. The packaging looks cool. I think the instructions are phenomenal. They're actually really clear, done really well, and there's a lot of information in there. They're instructions that I have fun with. Take that for what you will. Solid set. Not the set for me, because I'm an animation accurate guy, but definitely 100% a solid set. Overall score is an easy 8.5, 8.75. It is a tremendous offering. It really, really is. Let me know what you think about the Refraktor set. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course hit the join button right here on YouTube to become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button. Why not? Stick around, man. Have some fun with us. Don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single solitary day, you right there, you do make a difference. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams, baby, on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way right here inside the videos.